What's going on, everybody? Mark Farzy here, the Farzy Show here from the Steven Singer Studio, presented by Steven Singer himself. Hollis Thomas will join us coming up in just a minute to talk all things Eagles training camp. Hollis Thomas, I will just say, looks great. He looks great. He's got his big straw hat on. I'll explain it to you for the people just on the podcast that do not believe in the visual portion of the program, which is fine. However you want to consume the content, it's fine with me. He just looks fantastic. He was down there at Eagles training camp. And I will give a little bit of a spoiler here. He loves A.J. Brown. I thought when he and I talked last night, he was going to go on and rave about Jordan Davis, his fellow defensive tackle, his fellow quote-unquote Abeka boy. But no. He was emoting and giving great adulation to A.J. Brown, new wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles, and what he's going to be able to bring to the table for the Birds this year. So I look forward to catching up with Hollis Thomas, and hope you enjoy that interview. Thor made his debut last night. Jean Segura gets DFA'd. What? I mean, numbers-wise, I'm not shocked, but resume-wise, I'm a little bit shocked. And then we'll get into some other things in the world of sports, including Bryce Harper, the broadcaster. Those are some of the big three things we're going to be talking about on today's program. Let's start it off with the Philadelphia Phillies. Oh, and this, the football started last night. That was the quietest Hall of Fame game ever. I know there's a bit of a rain delay there. Football started. It was the lead story on SportsCenter that football started. All this other stuff happened, and like baseball was happening, and it was like, football, because they know that's what we want as Americans. So that's what we were into last night, despite the rain delay, despite the Raiders blowing out the Jacksonville Jaguars. Doug Peterson, I'm sure he's really broken up about his first loss as a member of the Jaguars. But nonetheless, football started, which just the only reason I even bring it up is to let you know that it's almost right there. A week from today. Eagles start their preseason, so we can enjoy that. Well, whoever's going to play. But let's start it off with the Philadelphia Phillies. Thor made his debut last night for the Phils, and I will say there was excitement. It was good to see him on the mound pitching for the Phillies and be reminded of just how ginormous he is, and just how ginormous he was on the Phillies mound last night, and the powder blue looking like a damn guy that was going to go out there and just hurl fastballs and sinkers at the opposing team. Last night, I took copious notes on Noah Syndergaard, and I didn't go past the fifth inning, not because I knew that they were going to have some thunderstorm and lightning and all that, but just because I didn't see him making it past the fifth inning. He had 10 days off. Rob Thompson counted it as 9. Thor himself, Noah Syndergaard, counted it as 10 days between starts. So he had a long layoff. And he went out there, and you know what? He was throwing a 95-mile-per-hour sinker, a 94-mile-per-hour fastball. He was throwing an 89-mile-per-hour changeup. He was throwing sliders in there. He went out there, and I thought he looked good for the most part. What was wild to me was that in his start, where technically it's, a complete game, he goes out there, pitches 5 innings, throws 79 pitches, and gives up a season-high 11 hits in those 5 innings. Watching this game play out, of those 11 hits, it felt like maybe 2 were really squared up and hit on the screws, if you will. Everything else was away and a blooper, away and a blooper, away and one that was just like a chip shot into right field or a chip shot to center field. That's what it seemed like. There was a couple of balls that were absolutely squared up, but of the 11 hits, I would say for the most part, he kept guys off balance. There are a couple of just good examples of fine hitting by the Nationals, just trying to put the bat on the baseball, going with the pitch. But it seemed like the vast majority of his pitches were to the outside, going away. Big looping 12-6 curveball he was throwing yesterday. It gave me a little bit of hope. It did remind me, and they were talking about this last night, it did remind me that Noah Syndergaard has no pickoff move. That guys will just steal base. When Maikel Franco is stealing a base on you, you know you got a bit of a problem. And you know who was really watching it last night in the booth was John Kruk. John Kruk, every time somebody inched off the base pad, or inched off the base to take a lead just a little bit more than normal, you could hear Kruk get a little, get him. You can get him. Get him. He said, get him. Like you could tell he was on edge, trying to see if Noah Syndergaard would be able to pick off somebody because they were taking liberties last night. like me and my beer league softball games, taking liberties last night. And no, there was no move. There was a couple of times when Noah Syndergaard was looking at guys back, and that was it. There was no real move to try to get somebody off the base paths. Michael Franco later ended up scoring. Phillies went down in this ball game 1-0. But it seemed like every single time, it didn't seem like, but it was every single time you saw struggles from Noah Syndergaard, whether it was 19 pitches in his first inning, 17 pitches in his in his second inning, 19 pitches in his third inning, and then a 9-pitch fourth inning. That's all right. Settled in before he started to get got to in that fifth inning. But every time there was struggles, the Phillies were able to come back and give Noah Syndergaard a little bit of breathing room. The perfect example of that, Rhys Hoskins in the second inning goes up to the plate, in the first inning, goes up to the plate, hits a home run to tie the score at 1-1. Then third inning, Rhys Hoskins ties the score at 2-2. Then coming up in the third inning, Alec Boehm follows that Hoskins RBI single with a 3-run bomb to left field. That's what you want to see from Alec Boehm, keeping that hot bat going. And then I know he came close to a home run, Nick Castellanos, yesterday. I know there was a couple of examples of him putting some good wood on the baseball in his 2 at-bats. The first one I thought was, oh my goodness, this one's gone. Second one, not so much. But Nick Castellanos' throw in the fifth inning, was exactly what the Phillies needed. I didn't know that the weather was going to be terrible. I mean, you just had a wild pitch. JT Realmuto wasn't able to block a pitch in the dirt from Noah Syndergaard, but you just had that wild pitch. A run scores on it. Phillies are only up 5-4. You have a runner on third base for the Washington Nationals. You have 1 out. You think there's a runner on second and third, and there's 1 out. You're in trouble. You got the fly ball to Nick Castellanos, and I'm watching that ball in the air, and I'm thinking to myself, there's no way they send him. There's no way they try to score on this. There's no way. This is the sacrifice fly the Washington Nationals are really waiting for. And sure enough, it was. They send the runner. Nick Castellanos bombs it in there to first to the home plate, and the next thing you know, the Phillies are walking off the field, and that was it. Phillies win the ball game after that. A game-saving throw. It wasn't a game-winning home run like it was in Atlanta the other day. No. It was a game-saving throw by Nick Castellanos, and how great was that? Here's Noah Syndergaard on his on his start yesterday. 5 innings for Noah Syndergaard, surrendering 4 runs, 2 strikeouts, 79 pitches.
I feel like as far as my outing goes, I feel like the first 2 innings I felt a little stiff, but that's rightfully so. Just new stadium, new team, new uniform. It was just kind of a shock, and it was a little tense. But once I settled in, I feel like I was able to execute my pitches nicely. I just had a lot of weak contact, and I just hit it where some guys weren't. So I feel like got my first win. So that feels really good to get it out of the way. And it was just a lot of fun watching the lineup put up runs, and luckily the weather made it a short game.
For the people on the podcast, I just had to get up from my chair for a second. Little issue in the studio. It's fixed now. But that was Noah Syndergaard on his start last night. Look, he wasn't crisp, as he just said. He expected some rust. He had some rust. A little bit before that cut, he did say in another question that he got to the stadium on Wednesday just to have a catch, just to get acclimated. He said it definitely was weird being with the Mets for as long as he was, and then all of a sudden he was a member of the Phillies, and he was hurling fastballs and sinkers for the Phillies. He said that was a little weird, but overall felt good in the start. The big question, I think, here, and he wasn't asked this last night, not that I saw, Noah Syndergaard, I want to know when he is going to be ready next. Is it 5 days from now? Are they, what do they do? Is it 10 days from now? Is it 6 days from now? When are they going to be using Noah Syndergaard again? What will be the regular schedule for Noah Syndergaard? Will they be as cautious as a team like the Angels were with him coming back from Tommy John surgery? What will be asked of him? What will be his workload for the Phillies in this rotation? That'll be my question as the season goes on. Shifting gears from Noah Syndergaard, Rhys Hoskins has been red hot from the plate over his last 11 games. You have JT Realmuto still smashing baseballs. Alec Boehm still smashing baseballs. And now Nick Castellanos is finding ways to help the Phillies win ball games. It's not all from the plate, at least not yet. but still a much better ball player than what we had seen. Jean Segura made his first start for the Phillies in a long, long time. He was back in the lineup, went 0 for 2 last night, but a couple of good swings. Just missed a home run. He was out in front of one, put him down on his knee, but just missed a home run down the left field line. Just foul. And then reached on an error in his first at bat on a little scorcher. He hit the first base, but he reached on the error nonetheless. But it was good to see him in the lineup. I was, in all honesty, this is funny. I have now 2 big examples of people tweeting me about things that would happen. And I'm like, no way they won't do it. And the first one was Darren Sproles. Somebody tweeted me, do you think the Eagles will get Darren Sproles? And there was no reports out there. There was nothing. There's just somebody saying, I like Darren Sproles. Can the Eagles get Darren Sproles? I'm like, I doubt they'd give up a pick for a running back that old. Blah, blah, blah. And then like the next day, they did it. There was nothing out there about the Eagles kicking the tires on Darren Sproles, but they did it. And I looked up the guy, I went back, I'm like, you nailed it. And wouldn't you know it, 2 days ago, the guy tweets me about Didi Gregorious. And he goes, I think the Phillies are going to DFA Didi Gregorious. What do you think? And I go, I'd be surprised if that happened. Playoff experience. He's got nearly 30 playoff games under his belt. He can still play a defensive shortstop position. He's making a lot of money. You're not just going to send that out to pasture for the last 2 months of the season, especially when you're a team over the luxury tax. You're not going to be wasting them dollar bills. And wouldn't you know it, the Edmundo Sosa deal was the end-all be-all. Well, I guess Jean Segura coming back was the end-all be-all, but we all knew that was going to happen. He was going to come back. But the other move, and bringing in Sosa, that gives you your defensive shortstop, if you need, or the second baseman, if you need it going into the playoffs. I thought a number of things. One, the history with Rob Thompson, as I mentioned, the playoff experience, the fact that he can still play defensively. I understand at the plate, he was terrible, but he had his injuries this season. I thought the Phillies were going to give him a little bit more time, at least to be the understudy now to Bryson Stott. The right baseball decision was to let Didi Gregorious go. I just didn't think that they would do it. And damn, son, they did it. Boy, did they do it. Like, hey, Segura's up. Didi, see ya. And that was it. And how about this? Didi Gregorious, 999 career hits. Somebody's going to pick him up. He's going to get 1,000. I'm not worried about that. But to now go into this ethos, to now go into this purgatory of, so what's next? At 999 hits, probably sucks. To get DFA'd in general as a veteran like him, when you've had the career, again, the playoff experience that he's had and all that stuff, and to know a guy like Rob Thompson so well, to even go back to spring training and listen to a guy like Joe Girardi, who also knows Didi Gregorious for a very long time, talk about what he could bring to the table here and things if they work out, how good they could be here in Philadelphia for Didi Gregorious, and it just wasn't in the cards, unfortunately. I was surprised. It was the right baseball move. I didn't think the Phillies would do it for a number of reasons, but they just decided to go with something that's crazy, and that is talent alone. Now, what he could bring to the ball club from this point on. Sosa is the guy now. Sosa's the backup, I should say. I thought it was going to be Didi. Not happening. I'm sure the Phillies dangled him out there in trade talks. No trade value. No trade value whatsoever, apparently. So we're now in the post Odubel Herrera and post Didi Gregorious version of the Phillies. That's where we are right now. One thing that had nothing to do with what was going on in the field kind of stole the show last night. Bryce Harper in the booth was fantastic. If you go back to last night's game, if you're like me and you DVR every Phillies game just in case something happens you might miss, you want to go back and watch it, even clips of it on YouTube or whatever, Bryce Harper was fantastic in the booth. I'll say a lot of guys that are on a team that are hurt or whatever, but they're with that team. If they're in the booth, they're injured, whatever, they go to the booth for a minute or two, whatever, they're going to provide a lot of insight because they're literally on the team. They're not guessing. They're not speculating about anything. They're telling you what's going on in the clubhouse. So that part alone is interesting, and I think anybody could give you that type of information and put you on the edge of your seat. But Bryce Harper was captivating last night. I was listening to it, Tom McCarthy would set him up. John Kruk would set him up. John and Bryce would have a little back and forth. Haha, about playing. Haha, this was fun. Haha, whatever. And like, I was deeply entertained by their conversation in the booth. I was amazed by the insight Bryce Harper. You're bringing up guys like older baseball umpires that Bryce Harper's like chiming in, giving opinions on. And Bryce Harper didn't do the thing that drives me crazy for anyone that's not a normal booth member, anyone that's not a normal broadcaster. He didn't get excited during plays. Rhys Hoskins' home run, he let Tom McCarthy make the call, and he wasn't like, yeah, that's right, go, Rhys. Like, it wasn't like that. The only time I heard him make a sound of emotion on point, like when it happened, was when Bryson Stott got hit. Like, that was the only time it was like, oh, well, yeah, Bryson. That type of thing. That was the only time I heard Bryce Harper go, yeah, that's my guy. Like, that kind of thing. But he was remarkably insightful, extremely knowledgeable about the game in general, natural storyteller, which was great. Look, the guy's going to go on to make that contract and make a lot of money in his career. I know, and we know that, and he probably won't need that job post-career. But if he does, wow. I am all for Bryce Harper just having a headset on in right field whenever it is he does return. And I'm all for Bryce Harper being on air as much as humanly possible throughout the rest of this season, because I was that amazed and that blown away with him in the booth. I was really enjoying the conversation. I would liken it to maybe the first couple of times I heard Schmitty in the booth. I know Mike Schmidt with some people is he's worn on him a little bit as far as a broadcaster goes, but I remember his first couple of broadcasts with the Phillies, and it was really interesting to have that kind of authority figure, that kind of guy that was the best third baseman ever in the history of baseball. Well, the reigning MVP was in the booth last night, and to hear that kind of not wishy-washy or maybe this or maybe that, but this, like being very authoritative with his opinions, not that he was going hot takes left and right or anything like that, but just very matter-of-factly putting it out like this is the way it is. I just really enjoyed that type of delivery, and I thought he was great. I thought the back and forth with him and John Kruk was great, like I said, and those two having fun. And Bryce Harper giving it back. Like, basically, it wasn't frickin' frack where they were breaking each other's stones or anything, but it was like John Kruk would have a funny line, Bryce Harper would come in with a funny line, and it wasn't done with the delivery of trying to top that line. Like, it was just a really good chemistry throughout that booth. And T-Mac was great to let it all happen in front of him and set up Bryce, and Bryce was great. T-Mac would do the perfect thing a setup man, a play-by-play guy should do, which is drop a little nugget, and then the next thing you know, Bryce Harper picks it up, runs with it, tells a little story about it, John Kruk, and then go back to Tom McCarthy. I thought it was a great broadcast last night. And judging from Twitter, a lot of people were very impressed with Bryce Harper in the booth. And one of my favorite tweets I got was somebody telling me that Bryce Harper just looked sharp. Like he's in his brown suit and a white button down, and he buttoned all the way up. He wasn't like your boy here, where he's just letting it breathe. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of Bryce Harper, let's talk about the most important thing, when he's going to get back on the baseball field. Bryce Harper last night before the game talked about how he was excited to have Noah Syndergaard in the rotation, and he also talked about the most important thing to us as Phillies fans, when he'll be back after getting the pins out of his thumb.
Yeah, it's been good. Being able to get the pins out kind of, open things up for me to kind of do what I needed to get through the week and then get into this next week to prepare me to come back. So being able to throw the baseball again, catch the baseball again, my workouts changed a little bit just so I can grip a little bit more and things like that. And then getting back in the cage, I got the pins out, got back in the cage that day. So it felt good to get back in there and swing a bat and like I said, get it kind of going again.
You even more optimistic now about coming back before the end of the month and with the progress you've made?
No, I mean, I don't, like I said before, I don't like putting timelines on anything because I don't know how I'm going to react. I don't know how my body's going to react or how, my thumb's going to react. So we're still on the same timeline of, September-ish and, come back when I'm ready and able to come back.
September-ish. Okay, pretty much what I was expecting. Little bit of luck. All right, a little bit of blessings. Bryce Harper, back by the end of August. That's still September-ish. So I'll take it. That's the latest on Bryce Harper as far as when he will return. Phillies 9 games over 500, not too shabby after last night's, albeit brief, 5-4 victory. Noah Syndergaard picks up his first win. I did like how we say he got that out of the way. That was great. Hoskins up to got his average back over 251 last night with his 2 hits. So that was nice to see as well. There was one little other tidbit out there. Oh, Brandon Marsh also, by the way, good for him. Got a hit last night in his first game as a Philly, running around center field, and hopefully that continues. Welcome to the party, Brandon Marsh. They weren't in the same trade, but they were the same 2 teams. The Angels called the Phillies back and said, hey, what about Noah Syndergaard? Phillies said, sure, here's Mickey Moniak, basically. Mickey Moniak gets a couple of at-bats in his first game as a Angel, then goes out there last night, hits a home run as a member of the Angels. The Angels, I believe this was a record. They hit 7 home runs in the ball game. I think Shohei Ohtani had 2 of them. 7 home runs in the ball game, and they lost. I think that's the most home runs ever by a team, and they lost. Mickey Moniak was part of that hit parade. But before the game last night, he stirred up a little conversation. I won't say controversy, but a little conversation here in Philadelphia, when he talked about what he was bringing to the table here in Philadelphia and what they were allowing him to bring to the table. Here's the quotes from Mickey Moniak yesterday before the ball game. Angels outfielder Mickey Moniak's full answer about his struggles in Philadelphia. Looking back on my time in Philadelphia, this is Moniak speaking. Looking back on my time in Philadelphia, I was grateful for it. Being given a chance at 18 years old, as an 18-year-old kid, came up with them, debuted with them. But I think that, for me, I've always been a guy that maybe takes a little bit to get comfortable at every level. And once I get comfortable, it's on from there. So I wasn't really given that opportunity there. Makes sense, which makes sense. There was always a pennant always a pennant chase going on, a lot of money on the field. So to be here and be told that you're going to play every day, more or less, is a great thing for him. Just want to make sure I get that out there. Go out there and you're going to play and have some fun is a huge fun is huge for him, which is great. Here's where I'm at, folks. He's not wrong by any means. When it comes to all things Mickey Moniak, when it comes to how they handle their minor leaguers, Spencer Howard is another guy that went out there, and by the way, who hasn't really had success either away from the Phillies, but basically ripped the Phillies farm system in the way they handle their player development. Mickey Moniak, I give him credit. I don't think he's necessarily ripping them. I think he's being honest. And people say, well, he was here 3 years. He didn't take a chance. 3 years, it wasn't 3 years of an opportunity. Sure, every time you play on the field is an opportunity, no doubt. But I think what he's referencing there is a Bryson Stott situation. You're going to play every day. Go do it. Yes, it hurts Mickey Moniak that he played so well in spring training, hurt his hand in the last day of spring training, and he missed a couple months. Yes, that absolutely hurts. That's not good. No bueno. But I agree with what he says about not giving basically that everyday role. Sink or swim, fella. Figure it out. Nick Castellanos a couple of months ago talked about how you have to have young guys just given an opportunity. Sink or swim. Go out there and do it. It's your job every day. Don't worry about losing it. Just go out there and do your job. He was never given that type of opportunity. Was he still given an opportunity? Absolutely, he was given an opportunity. How many people were begging Mickey Moniak, Adam Hazley, Matt Vierling recently to just take the job away from Odubel Herrera for about a 3-year period? And then it finally happened. But now it's happening with Brandon Marsh. And another interesting thing that I think was just a statement of fact, Bryce Harper, according to what he was told, was that Brandon Marsh is your everyday center fielder. It's not going to be a platooning situation. This is Brandon Marsh's job. He is now going to be given that opportunity with 2 years of Major League experience under his belt to go out there and be the Phillies' everyday center fielder. I think that's what Mickey Moniak is talking about. That's the opportunity he didn't get. And you know what? I've said the whole time, the Phillies did do him wrong. I think when you come to the big leagues, you should be coming to the big leagues to play. The other 2 years, yeah, sure, you could say he wasn't ready. This year, probably not ready from the plate, certainly. But he wasn't given the opportunity that a guy like Bryson Stott was given. Go out there and do it. Just play every day. Defensively, as a center fielder, I think he was ready for that. From the plate, absolutely not. If you look at his numbers, I will say this, I don't think he's right about taking time to settle in. If you look at it, first year in the Phillies organization, 284, 236, 270, 252, 238, In 2021, when he played 21 games at the major league level, he hit 0.91. That's not good. And then 135, 130 through different parts of the organization this year. So, yeah, he never figured it out. You could say he was given opportunities. He was here for a number of years. But in those years, he was never once said, all right, go. You're going to play every day. Go figure it out. Go through your struggles. So I believe what he's saying. I don't think he's ripping the franchise. I think he's being honest. Some people look at it and say, well, in 3 years, you didn't prove it was you. Okay. You're not wrong. That's a statement of fact. He didn't do it in 3 years. But I think what he's referencing is he wasn't given you're our center fielder, go do it. I think that's the opportunity he's talking about, where he could have a couple of months to figure it out and then prove that he was worth a number 1 overall pick. Before we get to our guest today, talk all things Eagles training camp, my man Hollis Thomas, let me tell you about the great people of Manscaped. Excuse me. What am I doing here? The great people at Steven Singer and Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price every single day. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. Go to the other corner of 8th and Walnut when it comes to all your jewelry purchases, ladies and gentlemen, and get treated like family with that perfect price. Now, what's the perfect price? Well, other jewelers like to mark things way up just to mark it down a couple of bucks in front of you and make you feel like you're such a good negotiator. No, it's Steven Singer. It's already marked down. No BS. They're selling you a beautiful, dazzling diamond at a great price. The perfect price, as a matter of fact. And a real jewelry expert will walk you through everything at Steven Singer Jewelers. When it comes to my wedding bands, when it comes to gifts, when it comes to where my family should go or my friends should go to buy a diamond, I always send them to Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price, the perfect price every day online at IHateStevenSinger.com. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump on the Roth Orthopedics guest line and talk to our good friend, Mr. Hollis Thomas. This guy never disappoints. I swear. I mean, look at you. You look like $1 million there, Tank. How are you there, Hollis Thomas?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. You got the lights go. Hold on one second. For the people on the podcast, Hollis has his amazing gardener's hat on. He's got the lights going around the room. He's in front of his curtain. He's having himself a damn good time, and he's got his damn Skippy awesome sunglasses on. Oh, you look amazing.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Oh, absolutely, my friend. Absolutely.
How you been doing? How you been doing in this football purgatory that's about to end for us?
I'm glad you put it like that, football purgatory, because it's so true. We got the Hall of Fame going on, at the time we tape this. We got the Eagles starting up, a week from Friday, so we still have a little bit. I can only assume from when you were playing to now, training camp just means less, especially when you're the Eagles and you seem like you're barely practicing nowadays.
Well, I think that's the thing with all the teams now with the last collective bargaining agreement about the players. They gave back some money, but they took control over practice and workouts. So they made it real quote unquote player friendly. But it's like the only problem I see and the drawback is the soft tissue injuries.
Right.
Those are the ones you always see. Somebody's got a hamstring or bruise. Those are things you normally get out of training camp because in order to play in an NFL season, you have to practice. You have to practice playing football, and I don't think that's ever going to change. So, But even though they're going to be able to last throughout the season, but some guys are still going to miss some pertinent games.
Now, I think we've had this conversation in the past quite a few times over the years, but is there any truth to the idea of getting your body used to being hit? Like, are we really missing out by not having full contact practices?
Yeah, you are. You see what's happening. Somebody just had a soft tissue injury, a groin today. You normally get all those out during training camp, but then now they're coming during the beginning of the regular season. And when you look at it, it's like, and just go back and look at all the soft tissue injuries that are now happening at the beginning of the season. Now that you plan not to get hurt. If you're scared, say you're scared. You're gonna play at some point. It don't matter if you get hurt now or when we start playing. It's just I don't know. It's a lightweight soft, and I know a lot of guys don't want it to seem that way. To me, it's lightweight soft because you have to get your body prepared for the grueling season that it's about to go through. So that's the only way to do. You can do all the running you want. You can do all the weightlifting you want, but none of that is going to prepare you for 60 minutes of heart pounding action.
Gotcha. So, When it comes to just the Eagles in general, you were down there today looking at the NovaCare complex and looking at how the guys are performing. Who's jumping out to you immediately? And if I had one guess, I think I know who you're going to say first. But go ahead.
It's not going to be who you said.
Okay, so it's not going to be Jordan Davis.
Nah.
Right.
Well, I do gravitate to the big guys. You know who jumped out to me? I've been to a couple of practices. AJ Brown. That's a man amongst boys. It's like I've seen elite receivers, but I've never seen them he's a giant amongst boys, and it's like I've never seen anybody hit with his thickness. It's like he puts you in the mindset of Anquan Bolden, like that size. Yeah, this is hopefully not David Boston before the Salston. But it's like he's real thick and he's like going up and getting the ball. But as you know, the next person I was looking at was my boy Jordan Davis. I saw him clogging up the middle on some of the runs and stuff. Boston Scott got popped up on the goal line.
Really?
Got popped pretty good. So it's like they holding up, but they still getting some licks in.
Oh wow!
So
okay,
I was impressed more by the speed that they were going through practice there, because that lets me know that they're learning that they've learned how to practice as a squad and get the work done. Because last year it seemed like everybody was feeling their way through it. You know what I mean? It's like now everybody knows where to go. They know what to do. They know when they make a mistake, and I think the mistakes are easier to correct. The one thing that I know that they do a lot of walkthrough and mental reps. Now walkthrough and mental reps, everybody gets a shot to walk to it and walk through. So you can't say you don't know anything. So when they put you in there, that's your shot to make it. If you screw it up, you SOL. So that's the one thing. That's the one thing that I've noticed that they start doing, where guys can no longer be like, I didn't get no time to study last night. But we had a whole 2 hours of studying. You watched somebody do what you're supposed to do, and then you went through and did what you were supposed to do. And you did it slow down and walk through. So now all you gotta do is put it to the game.
Mm-hmm.
All practice. Game is more. I feel like game speed is better though. So.
Oh, I 1,000 times agree. And you know me, I peaked freshman year in high school, which was also the only time I ever played. So I also bottomed out, I guess, at the same time. Are we making too much, Hollis Thomas? Are we making too much of the Jason Kelce story where he's helping a guy like Jordan Davis, or is that really as helpful as some people are trying to make it out to be?
It is helpful. When a guy who's played as much as Jason Kelce has played and against the guys who he's played against, that's just being a teammate. That's just being a good teammate, dude. And so it's going to be guys that you encounter. The guys, sometimes we used to tell each other when you look like you're doing a double team, am I leaning that way? And we would tell each other that in a stance. Or how did you know I was about to do a stunt? Well, you were leaning and you shrunk your lineup down, your alignment down. That's stuff that you're supposed to tell a teammate. And if that's going to make them better and get them to win it, that's all you want. You want to win. And the best way to win is if he knows a lot more than he knew before he got here. So it's on the I'm just gonna say the only thing that I want to see more of if he has a handle on is the violence with his hands. And the one thing about violence with your hands is sometimes when you come to the sideline, you're gonna be like, the coach will be like, why didn't you get there? You're gonna be like, because I was getting held. I didn't see no flag. So you are not getting held. If they don't call it, it's not holding. So you have to throw them around and make them call holding, or just throw them around and get their hands off you. Because that's the one thing, the transition from college to pros, the speed and the violence with your hands is a defensive lineman. So.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that did stick out to me, it wasn't just from what Jordan Davis had to say about Jason Kelce. It was also what Jason Kelce had to say about Jordan Davis. And one of the things he said was, when he's out there, his eyes are wide open. He's taking everything in. You just talked about being able to study and take mental reps and all that. Do you get the sense that this NFL level and this scheme, whatever you want to call it, under Jonathan Gannon, is starting to sink in with Jordan Davis?
You know what? It's been the Jonathan Gannon thing. I'm still the jury's still out on Jonathan Gannon. I need to see what he's going to do the first few games of the season. Everybody was talking. I was talking about the Fugazi, the 10th ranked defense that we had. it was like we gave up a lot of long drives in situations where we could have got off the field, got the ball back to our offense, and made the game a lot easier than the hardest that we made it harder than it should have been. Put it that way. Mm-hmm. And it's like we gave up like kind of like the Jets game. I don't know if I talked to you after the Jets game, but in the first half, me and Seth Jordan was pissed. We were like, how do you let a rookie quarterback come and be 12 or 14? And I'm gonna keep on reiterating this: 12 or 14 with 2 touchdowns, and you haven't laid a finger on him. And mm-hmm. He's a rookie. You haven't disguised your coverages yet. You haven't done anything innovative or anything creative to get any of your guys loose. As a player, you get sick of that. We're not moving around. I think the one game we started doing a bunch of stunts. I think we had about 6 or 7 sacks. It's like, but we went away from it. That should let you know that the guys enjoy moving around a little bit sometimes. It's not cool being where the offense knows you're going to be in this the opposing team. Like in the playoff game, when Tom Brady and Byron Leftwich said, he's like, hey, they're doing the same thing they did last time. We know exactly where they're going to be. So
gotcha.
So, but I think the wide-eye part is, you heard about Vic Fangio being there, huh?
Mm-hmm. wait, about that? No, about Vic Fangio being in practice?
No, being one of the coaches.
Oh, being one of the coaches. Yeah. He likes to get after the quarterback. He likes to be aggressive. Yeah. So I'm hoping that kind of
I'm hoping that it's
rubs off a little bit.
I'm hoping that it's an incentive for Jonathan to let him know that if you don't do what needs to be done, so we got somebody else that does what needs to get done. Mm-hmm. But as far as him taking it in, I think he's taking it. I think he's doing a pretty good job of knowing where he's supposed to be at. Right. I saw a bunch of the defense plays. It was hot out there, so it's kind of hard to keep the sweat out your face and drink water and watch them play too.
Were you wearing your hat at practice at least?
Yes, I was. That's where I got it at. It was hot. I walked out there. I was like, good God, man. I was like, I'm going to get me a hat, either a bucket hat or a straw hat or something to keep the sun on my head. But it was great. It was a great day out there. I was with Timmy from Sandlot.
Yes, who I've interviewed before. Great guy. He's from the Delaware, no?
Yeah, yes, he's a great kid. I met him when I was doing a golf outing with Shooter McGavin.
Oh yeah, what? Christopher Mcdonald?
Yeah, Christopher Mcdonald. The guy who plays Larry from Three's Company. I wanted to ask him if we could go have a beer at the Regal Beagle, but I don't know how that would have went over. And then Greg Brady, Barry.
Oh yeah. I'm losing it. Barry. I can't think of it. But that's incredible. What a day! What a day for Hollis Thomas. And then here you are slumming it with me. Yeah. Well, whatever. Well, if you remember, when you and I were on with Josh Innes at WIP, Christopher McDonald was a guest.
Yeah.
And I remember asking him about the show Celebrity Ghost Stories. Do you remember this? He said,
I remember that, yeah.
He said he had a ghost in his house when he was growing up, and it turned out they had like a psychic come in and read the whole vibe and all that stuff. And he said it was a little black boy and his father, and they were just staring at him in his hallway and walked into a wall. They go into the wall, they open up the wall essentially after this experience, and they find like an old hay mattress, a pair of work boots, an old lantern, and it turns out that house was part of the Underground Railroad.
Oh, God.
How about that?
Ah, man. I kind of remember when he said that, because I asked him about that. I told him, I was like, remember we did the radio interview with you? He's like, oh, yeah, on the Josh Innes show. I was like, yes, I was the black guy. Like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, and I remember saying the thing about the celebrity. He's like, yeah, it happened. I came back from a basketball game when I was in 11th grade, and there was just these people standing at the top of my steps, and there you go. So there you go. It gave me chills then. It gives me a little bit of chills now. Last thing regarding the Eagles defense, and I want to talk about some other members of this team. What are you buying into the optimistic theory that Jonathan Gannon will either be a little bit more aggressive this year because he's got better pieces to this puzzle, to rush the quarterback, or do you think it'll be things that he drums up schematically for these guys to get after the quarterback and maybe cause some turnovers?
I'm not too optimistic. I'm going off of what he's shown me so far. So far, he's shown me he doesn't have the tactical fortitude to do what it takes to put pressure on the opposing team's quarterback. Everything's vanilla. You're dropping. It's third and forever, and you rushing 3 and dropping everybody. It's like a glorified 7-on-7. Put pressure on them. Get the guy down to get the hell off the field. It's as simple as that. But he's making it more complicated than it should be. I don't. If he shows, put it this way, that's why me and Seth was said this exact same thing. If he comes out this first game or two and goes with the same crapola he had last year, then the writing's probably going to be on the wall for him, because last year he did get called into the principal's office and reprimanded. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, no, I remember. There were issues between him and Fletcher Cox, issues between him and Nick Sirianni, apparently, yeah.
Yeah, because put it this way, when your top defender comes out and say, I'm paid to make sacks. I mean,
yeah.
And he's never said anything like that before with anybody else. It means the defense that you're putting out there, the scheme schematically sucks. And everybody was making up the excuse about the talent. You're a coach. Put him in the proper position.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Now I have to ask you about Jalen Hurts. You mentioned A.J. Brown as a man amongst boys out there, the NovaCare complex. What's your take on Jalen Hurts to this point? How confident are you he'll lead the Eagles to many victories this season?
I'm very confident that he's going to lead. He led them to a bunch of victories last year. I mean, I think he looks a lot better than he did last year. He's got I'm not going to even say difference. It seems like he's matured a little bit more, and he's taking the right steps in progression. I was cracking up because somebody's like, Gardner Minshew's throwing some dimes out there. It's like, he looks better than Jalen Hurts. I was like, no, he don't. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, he doesn't. It's like he's playing against backups. I was like, either you with us or against us. And don't tell me you hope he does well and then you tear him up. I was like, and then when he comes over here, you're gonna be down on all fours kissing his Harry Beanbag. I was like, you just keep that same energy up when he does well. But if you truly want him to do well, act like it. Don't be out there talking all this stuff and be like, oh, he threw an interception in practice. We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice. And I was cracking up. I was like, dude, he's going against the twos. I was like, but I like what I saw of Jalen. There was just a little spat I had with a fan back and forth. It was way worse than I just gave you, though. I told him Santa Slay is not going to move if everybody's not singing. And that no lip singing either.
Wow, of all the things, knowing you could have said, you went the most child-friendly for the NovaCare audience. There
was some kids around it, but I was just like, come on, dude. I was like, if you truly believe in our squad, I like the squad we put together. I feel like we built a nice team. This is the first time that we didn't have nothing to bitch and moan about after the draft. It was like everybody was trying to find something, and they're steady trying to tear Jalen Hurts down. It's like it'll be his third year. Mm-hmm. It's like, I think if you put it this way, I'm quit saying put it this way.
You're good, baby.
Note to self. Now, when you look at what he's done so far, we still have 2 years left on a rookie contract to see what he can do. Mm-hmm. Right now, this season right here, we gave him everything he needs to cook. Mm-hmm. If he comes out with some crap, there's no need in us paying him, and we need to look for the successor, the guy we need to bring in there. But if he shows us promise, it's like, okay, let's make sure you're not a flash in the pan choke artist. Carson Wentz.
What happened with Carson?
Well, no, I was going to let you know that I'm extending the invitation to you to go to see the Washington Commanders. See us take on the Washington Commanders on our bus trip on Philly sports trips.
Oh,
go on phillysportstrip.com and check it out. We're trying to get 1,000 fans down there to say what's up to Carson. It's going to be a baller ass party, man. So my treat, if you want to go down, if you're down, We got some buses leave. We trying to get it. We already got 560 people. It's going. You have to go see it. It's going to be a big spread of food, drinks, cigars, the whole shebang.
Oh, well, you had me at cigars, my friend, and food as well. Thank you for the invite, man. Let me check the old calendar there, see what I'll be doing.
Check the calendar. You know, the game is September the 25th. You can go on phillysportships.com to check it out. That's what I'm traveling with them this year. I'll be at the Detroit game in Detroit, but that's one of our big trips in our Arizona trip. But I was given the carte blanche to give you an extended invite to you because you're the type of person that we want to hang with, want to hang with us,
Thank you,
and show you what we got going.
That sounds like a plan, man. That sounds like a plan. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
No problem. And also, I will be available on a weekly basis. I'm pretty much turned myself into a mercenary. I do a thing with Steve Trevelise on Friday night. So this won't affect any of that on WIP. It's kind of to stick it to the old spike in the keister. Try and stop me.
Damn it! I love you, brother.
I love you too, man. It's like so. I thought Josh was in Detroit, but he's still in Nashville. I had to check on him because all that rain down there.
Yeah. He's Nashville, but I think they're syndicating him in Detroit, which is incredible.
Yeah, so I thought he was going to Detroit. I was going to be like, I'm coming on the show. No.
There you go. Hollis Thomas. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But quickly, what do you think about Jalen?
I love Jalen Hurts. Like I think every quarterback needs that type of he could not have a more perfect mindset, a more perfect attitude. I think he needs to improve on his accuracy and breaking down what the defense is giving him. I think a lot of things you heard are very accurate. A lot of things you've seen are very accurate in what you report back to me and everybody else as well. But the thing that I hate is people that say he runs too much, because I think that's not fair. I don't think he looks to run. I think he takes what the defense gives him sometimes too many times with his legs, but I don't think he's like one read and done. And then the other thing I look at with him is the arm strength. The arm strength doesn't bother me. Could it be better? Sure. But if he's throwing a bomb down the field and he's accurate with it, then all is fine.
The funniest thing is he had one of the strongest arms at the combine. Just right behind Justin Herbert. I don't think a guy who deadlifts over 600 pounds has a problem with arm strength.
Really.
I think the thing he's trying to do, he's trying to get that touch. So, but he needs to just be able to follow through. I think he's kind of finding that this year. I saw a bunch of passes that was tremendous, but he's actually setting up better, and he's kind of taking what they give him like right away now. It's like I always feel like with a quarterback who makes quick decisions and take what they give him, that other stuff will be there if you take what they give you. Kind of like when Miles Sanders, I was doing a show yesterday. He had tweeted, "Keep his name out his motherfucking mouth." He was apologizing for the curse words, but that's what was tweeted.
Yes.
And I was saying if he hits the hole, he could be one of the most best running backs in the NFL. But since he runs east and west, he can't be the best.
I put that on a T-shirt. That's great.
But if you mention his name, he's probably going to tweet at you.
There you go. Tank, always great catching up with you, man. Thanks so much. Happy for your success, of course, being the mercenary that you are, and of course all the stuff you're doing with Philly sports trips, my friend.
Thanks. Let me make sure you let me know, because Vincent is waiting. I told him I was going to tell you tonight, and it's cool.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. The great Hollis Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much, Tank.
Go Birds.
I think there's always a point where the interview stops and we just start talking as friends. It's like, hey, by the way, you should come on this bus trip with me. I'm inviting you on this bus trip. Hey, thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Absolutely love that man. Good man, that Hollis Thomas. Good man. That is a true story. Well, true story. We had Christopher Mcdonald on the show when we were doing the show with Josh Anderson, of course. And I watched this show, Celebrity Ghost Stories. It would be like at 2:00 in the morning, and I'd be coming back from doing updates at WIP, like when I was like the evening update guy. I did that for like 5 years. And I would come home at like 2 a.m. after all the games were done and all that stuff. I'd hit Wawa. This was like my routine for a while. And if I didn't watch like a History Channel documentary, I watched this show, Celebrity Ghost Stories. And there's a whole bunch of people. Like Sugar Ray Leonard was on this show. Michael Madsen was on this show. Joey Lawrence, Philadelphia's own Joey Lawrence was on this show. And Christopher Mcdonald was on this show. And a bunch of other people who escaped me right now. But they told these fascinating stories. And even if you didn't believe it, it's still a fascinating story. If you don't mind a little ghost story, which I certainly don't. The calls are coming from inside the house. All right. Anyway, if you don't mind those kinds of stories, whatever, it's fun. And he told this story, and I mean, it combined my two favorite things. It was history and a ghost story. And when he told the story, I thought it was amazing. They ended up going back to that house with some psychic, and for like another, like an offshoot of the show, a spinoff, if you will, where this medium lady goes out there, and she talks to the ghosts and stuff. She tells the story about like how there was more than just the family, that one family of ghosts there. There was like another lady that wasn't related to the family that was in the house too, and this whole thing. But it was fascinating to like go through that wall eventually and find this room that they didn't know even existed in their house, which was a hiding space in the Underground Railroad. How incredible is that? That's pretty wild. And Christopher McDonald was like, "Oh yeah, that happened." When I was a kid, I came home, I was dribbling a basketball up the steps, and there was the father and son just looking at me. Okay. Pretty wild. Speaking of things that are pretty wild, have I told you about Manscaped, ladies and gentlemen? Fellas, you're looking to look your best everywhere, right? Well, that's where Manscaped enters the chat. Use promo code Farzy at manscaped.com. That's right, promo code Farzy at manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping when you order the Platinum Package 4.0. It includes a lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer. It's called a Weed Whacker, folks, so you know it works great. And it all comes with skin-safe technology that helps reduce the risk of nicks so you can manscape with confidence and comfort. Plus, the ultra premium body wash. You get a 2-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, crop preserver, anti-chafing ball deodorant, crop reviver ball spray toner, anti-chafing boxers, and the Shed travel bag that will help hold all the goods you'll be using to manscape your goods with Manscaped. Manscaped.com, promo code Farzy. Get free shipping and 20% off your order with promo code Farzy. How about Freestone Farm CBD? Oh, did I say 20% off something when you use promo code Farzy? How about 20% off something else when you use promo code Farzy at Freestone Farm CBD, FreestoneFarmCBD.com. You got to check out FreestoneFarmCBD.com. The menu is something that is absolutely incredible. Strains like their insane tropical tasting Bayox that clocks in at a chart-topping 24.1%. And Super CBD, which is half Hindu, Kush, and 21%. The genetics of these guys, they're off the charts. So if you use CBD, if you like CBD, if you want to try CBD, get 20% off at FreestoneFarmCBD.com when you use promo code Farzy. They grow all their premium hemp flower in the Garden State with all organic inputs and IPM. There's absolutely nothing synthetic from farm to jar. And after harvest, they carefully preserve all the plant compounds with a perfect 3-month cure like a nice soprasata. All right. That's Freestone Farm CBD, FreestoneFarmCBD.com. How about Blue Chew? Fellas, by now you've heard of Blue Chew. If you have that problem in the boudoir, Blue Chew wants to help you out. And to the ladies, there's nothing sexier than a man who handles a problem. And if this is a problem, BlueChew.com, where you can also use promo code Farzy for your first month free. Just pay $5 shipping. Blue Chew's unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form at a fraction of the cost. Blue Chew's tablets help men combat all forms of ED. And again, Blue Chew is an online prescription service, so there's no embarrassing trips to the doctor or pharmacy and no overheard conversations at the pharmacy as well. Blue Chew ships right to your home in a discreet package. Blue Chew's process is simple and one you can trust. Sign up at BlueChew.com. Consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days, and it's all done online. Also, Blue Chew's licensed medical providers will work with you to find the right ingredient and strength for your prescription. Don't like swallowing pills? No problem here. Blue Chew's tablets are chewable, so it's not just a clever name. Blue Chew's tablets are made right here in the good old US of A. And they prepare and ship directly to your house, so it's cheaper than a pharmacy. Once again, special deal for our listeners and our viewers. Try Blue Chew for free when you use promo code Farzy at checkout and pay just $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code Farzy and receive your first month free at BlueChew.com. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. Let's jump into our chat check, see how all you wonderful people are doing. April, hello. No, I wasn't pushing buttons again. We were just waiting. I was like, for whatever reason, the internet's been. Last night, I had every intent to do a post-game show for you after Noah Syndergaard's debut, and the rain delay happened, and I went to sign on, and I couldn't even load Twitter. So I reset the router and went to bed because I was spent yesterday. Plus, I mentioned the other day another thing with Sky Motor Cars, which is coming up in a second. Another interview we're going to do over there with someone very special. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Disco Tank, says Dan Schwartz. Absolutely. There's a giant pic of someone took of the huge lightning strike. Thor was definitely happy. Funny you mentioned that, April. If the Phillies get that third wild card, I'd rather play the Brewers than the Cardinals. Maybe I'm an idiot, though. I like any statement followed by, well, maybe I'm an idiot. You're not an idiot. Actually, I'm an idiot, but I could still, that could still be the right option. Sean Gillespie, good morning. Popeye the Sailor Man, hello. With Josh Hader out of the picture in Milwaukee, that would definitely be the perfect route. I agree. Tyvita, good morning. Not impressed by Syndergaard. Tyvita, here's what I'll say about Syndergaard's start last night, and I kind of alluded to this when I was wrapping it up or, giving the recap on his start. I think 11 hits looks really bad on the stat sheet. If you watch the game, you saw that it was a lot of dink and dunks. Look, 11 hits is 11 hits. I'm not trying to really devalue it. I'm just saying if you're giving up 11 hits that are hit on the screws, that's a bigger issue. But when you watch this, a lot of guys were off balance. I think it was Voit that had that little punch single in the left field. You had a couple of guys throughout. I think it was Yadiel Hernandez. Yeah, poked one just outside for a first base to left field as well. Thomas had one of those as well. There was a bunch of examples like that. It was rare that one of those 11 hits was hit hard. Granted, it's 11 hits. It ain't good. And the other thing I thought was interesting was the strike zone was a little all over the place last night. There were a couple instances where Noah Syndergaard was painting the corner, quote unquote. Robo umpire wouldn't have called those strikes. If I'm trying to give a bigger description about those 11 hits, that's what it was. It certainly wasn't him getting beat around the bases beat around the field. I'll say that much. But no, overall, bottom line is you're right. It wasn't impressive. The one thing I'll say that to kind of couch it a little bit was, okay, one thing, 9-10 days in between starts, even for Noah Syndergaard, that's his 14th start of 16, I believe it is. 14th start of 16 that was on more than 6 days or 6 or more days rest. So if anyone should be used to it, it's him. But even 9 or 10 days, that's a long time. Phillies get that third wild card. Yep, you're right. Hopefully that happens. I wasn't impressed with Syndergaard, Dan Schwartz. Not even with his hair. The man bun he was sporting last night was pretty on point. Bryce Harper officially the GOAT of Philly sports, influenced by Vin Scully. Popeye, how about that story? Vin Scully, I didn't realize this. Bryce Harper's first game was against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. So he said the first broadcaster he ever had was Vin Scully. That's pretty wild. Here's a kid out of Las Vegas. That's my terrible Vin Scully. If you missed my tribute to him, it's on our YouTube page. I fell asleep last night, but apparently it rained and people got struck by lightning. I haven't seen if people got struck by lightning, but I do have the picture that April was referring to. I'll show that in the morning rush. I need to find clips. Game was blocked here. Oh, stupid Nationals. They are stupid, April. Oh, now I get it, Dan. You're on point, Popeye. I definitely ate your snack this morning. Did you have spinach for breakfast? A little spinach omelet, maybe? All right. Go Angels, says Sean Gillespie. Superfly Hollis Thomas, the man with the plan. Sean, Hollis is the man. Hollis Thomas in Disco Tank spirit. Absolutely. Love me some Disco Tank. April, I knew you'd be happy when he said yes to come on. That's a scary yet amazing ghost story. Damn, Sean, I'm telling you. Pretty wild. I never knew I needed a tank reading of the AI rant until today. April, he was on point, wasn't he? Practice, damn it. Don't you know that's where people make mistakes, says Sean Gillespie. Absolutely right. April, we need a Farzy in the field on that trip. That would be a good time. Disco Tank Thursdays? Ooh, that's a good suggestion. I like that he's like, I'm a mercenary now. I'll do whatever. All right, cool. Now that it'll be fun. Tyvita, I don't believe in ghosts, but I love a good story. Tyvita, that's a good way to describe it. I don't know if you guys remember this. I had told a story on the radio a long time ago about how I thought my house was haunted when I first bought it because it's 100 years old, and a lot of things happen here. But one of the things was when I first moved in, I was moving boxes into the basement, and I swear we had a contractor working on the house, and I was in the basement, and he had a key, and I was working in the basement, and I heard the front door open and close, and footsteps go over my head. And my guy's name was Robert. I was like, hey, Robert, I'm in the basement just loading some boxes. And he didn't say anything. I was like, that's weird. So I hear the footsteps walk back over my head. And I go, hey, Robert, just let you know I'm here. Nothing. So I finished putting the boxes in the shelves. I go upstairs and there's no one in the house. And like, if you would have been downstairs with me and you said, Mark, is there somebody upstairs? Yes or no? And I had to bet $1 million on it. I would have been like, yes, there's someone upstairs. Give me my $1 million. And for like 3 years, I couldn't explain it. Then literally like maybe a month ago, I was down in my basement and I was I think I was working, doing something on my, I have my little tool bench down there, whatever, workbench. And I hear it again for the first time. No one was home and these steps over my head. And I'm like, I was just all the way upstairs. Both my wife's cats were all the way upstairs in my house. And I was like, oh God, what the hell is that? And then distinctly, beyond shadow of a doubt, I heard my neighbor. I live in a row home in Philly. I hear my neighbor. And like the first thing I thought was when it originally happened was, oh, it's probably the neighbor walking around. And it was like, I have never heard a neighbor. I've been down in the basement of Buzz, never heard the neighbor. It's got to be a ghost, whatever. And then I distinctly heard my neighbor's voice and walk and talk and then leave his house. And I went, that's what it was. But like for the 3 years, I'm like, it's probably a ghost. But anyway, Hollis High AF, hence the sunglasses. Paul, probably. He does him, Sean Gillespie from Ghosts to Manscaping, perfect crossover. I know, right? Mullet. Yeah, Mullet. Bryce was down in Stone Harbor a couple of weeks ago. You just missed it. Yeah, he took a picture with people. That's pretty awesome. Thanks to everybody in the chat. You got a fantastic as per usual. Let's get into our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Phillies would look to take now two of the first, both games of the 4-game set they have against the Washington Nationals, which you can score it back in the order tonight. I believe this game is an Apple TV, Apple Plus broadcast tonight. Yes, it is. Apple TV Plus. Phillies Nationals tonight. Kyle Gibson gets the start against Josiah Gray. Josiah Gray is 7-7 on the season with a 4.59 ERA, 118 strikeouts and 102 innings pitched. Gibson gets the start, 4.60 ERA, 6-4 on the season. This is the picture of the picture. Sorry for the people on the podcast, but just look up Kevin Negandhi. Look at his Twitter later today. He put this out here, and I love Kevin Negandhi posted this picture. Friend of the show, Kevin Negandhi. Thor's first game with the Phillies, and this happens? Coincidence? I think not. It's the huge bolt of lightning coming down and like striking each one of the flagpoles over the center field wall at Citizens Bank Park. It is an ominous, like movie quality bolt of lightning coming down on Citizens Bank Park. Just a coincidence or not that it was Thor making things happen? Who knows? I mentioned the Mickey Moniak stuff, Hollis Thomas and all that stuff. Really took away from him that he had a really impressive showing. Well, A.J. Brown had an impressive showing when he was out there at training camp last night. Thanks for watching. Oh, Deshaun Watson. I talked about it yesterday. So now Roger Goodell is pawning off the responsibility of punishment to a former district attorney of New Jersey. This is just the beginning. This is going to drag on. This is going to be a long process. We got big companies suing one another in the NFLPA and the NFL. Boy, oh boy. This is Just the tip of the iceberg, folks. The tip of the iceberg. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by Steven Singer from the Steven Singer Studios. Going to be heading on down to Sky Motor Cars. Got a little thing we're doing down there. Hope to release to you guys in the not too distant future. Jim Hyder produced the program, did a wonderful job. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. Have a wonderful weekend. Let's go Phillies. Talk to you guys on Monday. See ya.